we're hoping that you don't find our conversation offensive, but take it as insight and join the girl talk.
Yes.
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka. We continue our conversation today with Rachel Monet, the love guru on dating and relationships after 50. Rachel, thanks for staying over.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, we have had a lot of fun. We've had some fun conversations, particularly one where that we just ended about women and online dating behavior and what we should absolutely not do on a first date if we want to get a second one. And we want to share that same sort of information with the men today from our perspective. What if you want to get to a second date, or if you even want us to contact you at all? Some of the do's and don'ts of profiles, when you first put yourself online. I know both of us did quite a bit of online dating after we got out of our marriages, so we've kind of been there, done that, and we've certainly heard enough from our friends. So Rachel, I know for me, one of the big don'ts was pictures without shirts. That right away I just went past.
Well, if the picture without a shirt is him at the beach or holding a fish or something like that, I don't recommend that. Not to start. The sexiest thing you can wear, the most attractive thing you can wear is a smile. For most of us women who, are even, 40s and older, a lot of us have been in abusive relationships. And when we're faced with, in this swipe right, swipe left world, if the first thing we see is a man looking all John Wayne-ish and like, serious, I don't want to be anywhere near a guy like that. I want to be with a guy who's happy, who's, approachable looking, not stern and serious. Like I would instantly swipe left on those guys.
Yeah.
Let me see, swipe right, swipe left. Yeah. Because let's face it, that's the first thing that you see on somebody's profile is whether they're, a potentially happy person and, positive to be around with, or if they're all serious. I don't want a serious guy.
No, it's what came up for me when you said that. And I never did the swiping. This was before me. I haven't been online for like 8 years. So I was a Match girl and I did very well on Match. Had lots of fun and,
Yeah,
and a relationship now because of it. But and there's people and experts, dating experts that will differ with me here. But I don't recommend professional pictures.
No, I don't either, because you meet in person and you don't look anything like that and you're disappointed. Or it can make a woman look like she's too high maintenance, which we talked about earlier, if she's all glamored up.
Right.
Yeah.
And particularly for me, with if a man goes out and takes professional pictures, what does that say about him? That as a woman makes me question, is he insecure or too into himself? To me, it sends a message that you don't want to send, if you want to try to get my attention. I don't speak for all women, but I thought I'd throw that out there, that I don't recommend professional pictures.
It may be well-intentioned. For example, if you don't have any selfies, if you don't have anybody to take your pictures, and you want to look your best, you want to show up the best you can be, I understand that, but it can backfire.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So go to the mall and ask somebody passing by, would you mind taking a picture of me?
Well, that's another good thing that you just brought up. Selfies. That in and of itself says something. Like, I don't have any friends. I mean, maybe you do. You just don't want to ask friends. But that's another thing. Or in front of the mirror, and then you're there. I don't know. That just says something like, this guy doesn't have any friends.
So here's a little tech tip. You can set your phone on timer and position it, and then step back and do a pose. 3, 2, 1.
Not like that, guys.
Not like that. But yes, there are ways to accomplish taking the pictures yourself without looking like you're doing the selfie thing. Plus, when you get older and you do the selfie thing, it enhances all the wrinkles here, so you don't want to do that.
No, I totally agree. What do you think about pictures with other people in it? Or what people?
Confusing, because if you're a guy and you're taking pictures with your other guy friends and they're hotter than you don't want to be that, because then you're like, which one is it? And then you're disappointed it's not that one.
Yeah.
So definitely try and get pictures by yourself. Don't put your children in there. Don't put your cats and your dogs. So one fellow said to me, I don't want to date a woman who just had her cat stick its tongue in her mouth, you know. But these are thoughts that come up when you look at pictures. So yeah.
I guess the we're kind of laughing and because it is kind of a fun subject, but is what does that picture say about you? And maybe I go into it, or some of us go into. Well, women do overanalyze everything, so maybe
Oh,
maybe
yes.
that's the takeaway. Think about, what does this picture say about me? Am I say, again, if you're not having if you're getting all kinds of hits and you're out there dating, you're doing great. Good. We don't have all the answers. Another thing that I never quite understood is when you put a bunch of pictures of scenery, or where you've traveled, or it's like,
Boring.
yeah,
Yeah, boring.
that's what that said
Uh,
to me, is boring.
Yes. So then it makes me wonder if I've got an introvert on my hands, somebody who's not comfortable showing up just as themselves conversationally, or if they want to impress me with their lifestyle or their photography skills. I'll go to Pinterest or Instagram if I want to look at pretty pictures.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And we're sounding is a little facetious, but we are just sharing. This is how girlfriends talk. Like when I used to get together with my friends, and some of them were online dating, some I was like one of the first ones to start, and I called it the man catalog. We'd sign into Match and just go through the pictures, and this
yeah.
is kind of how we would talk. So I we're hoping that you don't find our conversation offensive, but take it as insight, and join the girl talk.
Yes.
Yeah, and try to be clear on what kind of relationship goals you have, because if you're sending out inappropriate pictures too soon, you might really lose out on a great opportunity with a wonderful person by making a bad judgment
It's
call on that
interesting
one.
that you say too soon. I mean, I would say never. How do you do, especially when you're first, I mean, once you're in a relationship and that kind of thing turns you on, great. But you would never do that. And I've heard so many people that do. Is it a
Yes,
fetish or
because they
something?
assume.
That because they're on Tinder or Bumble or on certain dating sites, that it's all about hookups and that's what women want, and it's not. So always take the high road, be gracious, be classy, and treat this prospective date woman how you would want your daughter to be treated, or your sister or something, assuming you like them. But yes. And when is too soon? I think too soon is before you've kissed, before you've developed the chemistry, before you start sexting, all that kind of stuff. Just don't do it.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
weird. That's just creepy and weird. And what does that say about you? So pictures say a lot about you, other than what's just on, what the image is. The other thing that maybe lastly, what I want to ask you about is the amount of pictures, because I think you need to have more than one.
I think somewhere between 3 and 6 is good, because I want to see a full body shot. Uh, I want to see you smiling. 3 to 6 is good, because if you only have one, it could be a fake profile.
Right.
If you only have two or three, you could have lifted those photos off of somebody else's Facebook and used them as your own.
Yep.
So, a variety over time. But again, oh, here's another thing over time. I don't want to see pictures of you 20 years ago. I want to see only current, recent pictures.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Good point. Yes, that happened. And I know. I like. Why would you post that? I don't know. I don't get it. And I know we're talking about men, and believe me, I know women do this all the time. So
Yes.
really, everything we talked about today, while the segment is directed, for friendly advice to men, it all holds true for us as well.
It does.
Yeah. Rachel, is there anything else that we can think of, where we are coming to the end, to kind of tie this up?
Dating, getting back out there, online dating is really a great exploratory for yourself to learn about you, what you like, what you don't like, because your needs and your relationship goals are much different 50 and beyond than when you were looking to start a family and get married and live happily ever after. So you're a different person now, and just use that as a learning experience and have fun with it. Absolutely, just have fun with it.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
Thank you.
For more videos on finding love again after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Here's the button.